Sean Capri, and welcome to We the GamerCast that publishes on youtube.com/carpool gaming and podcast services around the world and the solar system and the galaxy and the local cluster every single Monday, but patrons get it first. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for telling your mom, for telling your dad, for walking down the street and telling a person across the street, hey, We the GamerCast, listen to it. Are you listening to it? What are the chances? Wouldn't that be amazing if you tried to tell somebody, hey, you should listen to We the GamerCast, and they're like, dude, I already am. And then you become best friends. Maybe you get married. Maybe amazing things happen. You never know. Welcome to the show. I'm stoked that you guys are here. There's lots to talk about. We've got a very interesting conversation coming up with my old friend Grrouchie Serge. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself because if you're new, here's the deal. Every week I have sweet hangs with a friend or stranger from the internet. And if you want to let me know what you think, or if you want to be on the show, just tweet at me at Sean Capri, Sean like Connor, Capri like the pants. I want you guys join in the Discord. Many of you guys are listening. Many of you are already in the Discord. I just want to put a call out there. You're welcome on in. Everybody is welcome. You don't have to be a patron. You don't have to be a paying member to be part of our Discord. Everybody is there. We're all having a good time. And we'd love to have you. So there. What do you guys think about that? How are you guys? You guys okay? I've been busy, man. This week has like totally flown by. As I'm sitting down to record this, I'm like, didn't I just do this? Wasn't I just talking to Luke Lore a second ago? But no, this is how time works. But time flies when you're having fun. I hope you guys are doing all right. I want to draw your attention quickly over to the Patreon, patreon.com/carpoolgaming, where you can find amazing exclusive content at the $3 tier and up. We appreciate everybody who supports us. And we just launched another exclusive episode of the Console War Room with Mr. Badbit. And I don't know about you guys, maybe some of you have listened to it already, but these console war rooms, they start out like jokey joke, like haha, console war, like isn't that dumb and isn't that silly, and we're still friends. We're getting a little spicy, I think, on this show. We're getting a little, we're going places, man. We're really hitting hard, I would say. We're not really pulling any punches, Mr. Babbitt and I. So there was a couple of moments in there I think I was caught a little off guard, like, okay, we're going for it. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. If you are interested in that, patreon.com/carpoolgaming, just like nearly 90 of you, which is insane. We are going to the moon, you guys. You guys are insane. And I want to spank. I was going to say a special thanks and a thanks. And apparently I'm spanking everybody. Our ultimate producers, Tony Baker from Quest for Pixels. You can subscribe to youtube.com/quest4pixels. Dallas Ford, the co-host of The Blame Game. Support Dallas on YouTube and get these guys to 100 subs. Links in the show notes. Emily O'Kelly, Trucker Sloth, Johnathan Brown, of course, the man behind the music on the Xbox Drive and the Nintendo Drive. Download his album In My Element on Spotify and Apple Music. Agnew, the handsome host from the House of Mario podcast. Lee Navarro, the fearless leader of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team. Skinny Matt hosting Carpool Gaming Community Night. Follow him at twitch.tv/SkinnyMattK. And again, all the links to all these amazing people are in the show notes. Click on every single one. Follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Our platinum producers, Brendan Myers, Dano, Marcus McCracken, Mostly Martinez, who I'm going to be talking to next week, Becky Ruben Navarro, Robbie Bobby Miller, and RJ Kern, and all of our gold members, Anna, Argo, Ashley Nicholson, Cecily Carrozza, Dallas Robbins, Foolish Fuji, Jose Jimenez, Mac Time, Marcus O'Neill, Nagachaka, The Snack Network, Tom Danks, and Mr. and Mrs. Nasty Boots. And I feel like there may have been one or two maybe new people, but Patreon was down. As I'm sitting down to record this, I'm not able to look anything up. So if you're new, I'll get you guys next week. I'm so sorry, but thanks to everybody for supporting us. You guys are just crazy, man. Whew, I'm a little out of breath. This time next week, man, I am headed in for a bit of a nuts week. I've been talking about this for a while. I've been looking forward to this for a while. Professionally, very cool opportunity. I get to go to Kelowna, British Columbia. If you don't know it, you should look it up. If you know it, man, Kelowna is a very special place. I'm really looking forward to going, and I get to do this. I get to do like a public kind of speaking session thing, which is awesome. I was in Vancouver last month doing something similar. This one is even more, I don't know. I'm looking forward to this one even more because it's a conversation rather than more of a presentation. So I get to sit down on a fancy couch and kind of just do like let's talk about the smart things that we've done. I'm really, really looking forward to it. And, but guys, it's right in the middle of Summer Games Fest. Last week, we got our first glimpse into stuff as PlayStation did their thing. If you missed our reactions on the PlayStation Drive, go to youtube.com/carpoolgaming. We live reacted. We talked about it afterwards on the PlayStation Drive. It's all there. And I'm getting like, can we just say it? I don't know if anybody is really saying it. We're just kind of like moseying on into June here, but like E3 Christmas is here. Why isn't anybody saying stuff? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Welcome to here. I'll do it. Welcome to E3, everybody. June is here. The craziness is here. Let's all fight each other about video games and all that stupid stuff. But in all seriousness, I am so excited. Devolver Digital is launching their thing on June 9th. Keely's doing his thing on June 9th. I feel like there's another thing that I'm missing. And then after I get home from Kelowna, which I'm going to try to figure out how I'm doing all the streaming and all the podcasting and content creation from a hotel room. Once again, I come home on Friday. I'm going to record with mostly Martinez. I'm pretty sure that's next week. Then Saturday morning, I fly out to Toronto. I land at 2:40. If you're in the Toronto area, hit me up because we are going to go to two places that evening. We're going to go to Rudy's at 6 p.m. and Free Play at 8 p.m. in Toronto, and both are on College Street. And we're going to hang out all evening. We're going to have lots of fun. We're going to play some games. We're going to have a couple drinks. I think I'm just gonna like maybe just a Diet Pepsi. I got my or Diet Coke even. I got my Diet Coke here. So if you want to get together, if you're in the area, please hit me up. I am so looking forward to it. It'll be me, and I mean, I'm going to miss some people here, but me and Nagachaka and Jordan LaRose and Brock McLaughlin and Court Lalonde and Ryan Turford and all these other people. My goodness gracious. Andrew Watson, I think, is going to be there. There's so many people. Everybody, this is an open invite, and we'll see how that turns out. This could be a disaster, but this is where we're going to be. I'm looking forward to it. Toronto, this is what it's all about, you guys. Holy crap. Okay. I'm still working out, still feeling okay. I put on Twitter the other day, I'm like, my eating is not getting any better. And I had one morning in particular, I had one evening and one night where I'm like, my mood is not the best. And I was in a bit of a poopy pants mood. I really had to work myself out of it. And honestly, I just went to the gym on Friday morning and I felt better. Like I could just stay there all day, man. And then last night I slept on the couch for a couple hours and my back is all messed up. So I'm just like progressing through it. I feel like on Twitter, it's like, I did another workout. Yeah. And everybody's great and everybody's encouraging and stuff. But like there's struggles along the way that you don't get the entire picture on Twitter. You never really do. But that's all I really wanted to say about that. The work continues and I am enjoying it. I feel like I'm getting stronger, and that is what I'm focused on right now. Now, what you should focus on right now is my conversation with Grrouchie Serge. He's the co-founder of the Backlog Busters. Many of you also listen to that podcast and join that community as well. I encourage you, if you haven't already, to follow Grrouchie on Twitter at Grrouchie. That's 2 R's on Grrouchie. A proud and prolific supporter of many of these indie podcasts. And this conversation goes in an interesting place, and I'm going to talk to you guys about it on the other side. So please enjoy my conversation with Grrouchie Serge.
Help you, I will.
Was the orcs or like the peons? Is it basically just a Yoda impression?
Possibly.
Like, is it almost like too on the nose Yoda? Like it's just backwards children's monster talk?
I haven't played Warcraft in so long. I just remember
That's pretty impressive.
Keep clicking on things, they make noises and say things, and sheep explode. Or was that Diablo?
No, it was definitely Warcraft. I'm trying to remember if there was anything in Diablo like that, but definitely Warcraft. That was like just Blizzard humor back then. Just click on stuff and see what happens.
Yeah,
and it was like the height of comedy.
Click on it 700 times.
You just never know. And the best thing was all those sound effects were on the CD. You could actually go in and find them. You could and set them for Windows notifications and prompts.
I never dug that deep.
Oh, you should do it sometime.
I was too busy playing Diablo 2 and StarCraft.
Diablo 2 scared me.
Did it?
After the devil, yeah. Wasn't supposed to be messing with devil stuff.
I saw Diablo 1 and I thought it was dumb. And then Diablo 2 came out and it changed everything for me.
Why was it a demo disc? Why did you try it?
Friends were playing it and it was multiplayer. So I was in college at the time, and what else do you have to do? I mean, are you going to study?
No.
Or are you going to play Dungeons and Dragons and Diablo and all kinds of other things?
Did you do tabletop? Did you do D&D?
I did. I had a brief experimentation with it when I was in grade school.
Yeah.
And it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
But then in college, I met up with the right people, and I think the one dungeon master, we had like a 2 or a 3 year campaign.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all kinds of crazy stuff.
Was this like a Sherpa of some sort to like bring you along, like to teach you? Like, I feel like I would need somebody like at my side 24 hours, basically a life coach for D&D.
It was the Scientology pitch. We all joined a call.
What?
Only a few of us survived. No, it was just we were bored and we did stuff, and you know, and then we had a summer break and we came back the next year and he just continued the campaign. So he just kept planning stories, and people got super attached to your characters, and like when a couple of people died, that's kind of when everything fell apart.
Like, and they die for like I'm just. This is where I'm like I feel like a fake nerd. Like, I have just no concept of D&D. Like very, very little. It's like, yeah, I played like Dragon Age or Baldur's Gate a little bit. So maybe that counts a little. I'm not sure. I don't think so though.
I mean, it's all rooted in D&D. It's all just a matter of, you know, using your mind to come up with scenarios and try to outwit the dungeon master.
That's the last thing that happens in a video game.
Well,
it's the dice rolls. That's it. That's the die. That's the only thing, I think. And it's like fantastical.
Yeah, but in a lot of those RPGs, you get to make decisions and make choices. Like
that's true.
That's true. BioWare tried to take that in a good way with Mass Effect and Dragon Age. Even you had certain decisions.
That's Baldur's Gate. That's right there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was all fun until somebody fell off a horse and died.
Oh, is that like? And it can be that's like it just seems. Like, the part that I guess I don't really have an understanding on, among many other things about D&D, is like, it just seems like you can just like make something up and like either win or be totally ruined by this made up thing that you never could have possibly seen coming. Like, actually, the centaur has a magic wand that turns you into a sheep. And now you're screwed.
That's where you need a better dungeon master who can think on his feet, has his idea of the scenario. But then, I mean, the dungeon master only can control so much. You come up with the ideas, you come up with what you think are the solutions, and then you have like 5 characters playing, and they're all like, yeah, let's do this instead, or let's just do what we want. And then the dungeon master can either roll with it, or they can try to like force you to get in line. Yes, exactly. That's a D20 joke right there. Rolling with my homies, yo.
Stop. That'd be a great shirt. I'd like to see it. I want to know if like, do you still have a need or like a yearning for D&D now? Like, I imagine you're probably just too busy. I imagine these were days of yore.
I mean, it's the same as with everything else that you look back on in your youth.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I still like Rob Zombie, Days of the New, Marilyn Manson, and Guar, and it's all because that's the crap I grew up listening to. That's what I was into. So I look back and I'm like, man, I would kill to like meet up with like 5 or 6 of these people and just sit down and have a D&D session.
Yeah.
You know, and in theory we can do it over Skype and that could be fun and everything, but I look back on Magic the Gathering the same way. Like, I enjoyed the years that I spent playing that and traveling to tournaments and just meeting up with friends and play testing. And I mean, I would never want to get back into it, but I miss it.
That is an interesting statement. I would never want to get back into it, but I miss it.
Oh, it's expensive.
That's a well, and that I was just that reeks of acceptance.
Well, it also is the fact that I have an addictive personality.
Sure.
So usually when I have like a hobby, that hobby is the one that dominates my life. Yeah. So when I was into Magic the Gathering in college, like that's what I did. My money went to packs of cards and buying cards online and collecting foreign versions of it and then foreign foil versions of it, making sure there wasn't an English word in my deck, going to tournaments with a complete foreign foil deck that I spent way too much money on. But I'm like, people were like, what does that card do? I'm like, hold on, let me dig the English version out for you.
No way.
Oh, yeah. And it's fun. You get into something and then you really, really get into it. You know, and it was the same way with like, especially like video games when I was like a little kid. It was like, and that's what I see like with my kids. It's like, oh, this is what I want to do, and this is what I want to do all the time.
Right. Why would I ever want to do anything else? Like, obviously, this is what I'm enjoying. This is the best way to use my time. There's nothing else in the world.
Exactly. And as we get older, technology evolves, everything starts going crazy, and now the world feeds off of addictive personalities.
That's true.
That's what Twitter and Facebook and TikTok is like. Instagram videos. My wife will sit there and scroll through them. I'm like, are you really on TikTok? She's like, no, these ones are on Instagram.
I know.
My 16-year-old
Have you managed to
never gets
steer
off
clear of
TikTok.
that? Are you not like scrolling through reels or shorts or whatever? Like, is that just something
I uninstalled it?
Because it's on. The thing is, it's on everything. It's
so the
everywhere.
Thing is, I was enjoying TikTok. I was getting into a barbecuing community, and I was like posting like what I was cooking on there and interacting with people, and then like the next thing I knew, it was like I'm on TikTok all the time.
Yeah,
it's like I could be doing something productive, but instead I'm like, oh, look at that joke. Hey, I can't make ribs that good.
I know. I'm like, what am I even looking at here? Like that's usually, I try to have some sort of like flag for myself of like, now's the time to put it down. Okay. Cause it's just like, cause it's endless. There's not like, you've reached the end. There's no marker of any sort. So what I try to do is like, have I seen this one before? Like that's usually that's a good thing to go. Like maybe I should move on to something else. Yeah, but like, what am I supposed to do? Not have YouTube on my phone? Like, do you just not have YouTube on your phone?
I've never been into YouTube.
Wow.
But, I don't watch it. I watch the Snack Network videos on there to make sure we get an extra view, and I like them. And no, I'm not into YouTube. I don't really go on Instagram. I've cut off most social media actually at this point.
Have you really?
I uninstalled Facebook, so if I want to go check on something, I have to go to the web version on my phone.
Oh, and that is such a pain in the butt. Like you're not going to end up doing it.
I could just pull up an app. It would be so much easier.
It's funny. I did the same thing with Twitter for a while, and I ended up going through the pain in the butt of going to Twitter on a web browser, and I'm like, I guess I'm installing this thing back again. So I have a cyclical kind of thing with this. I try it, and then I kind of give in. And right now I am totally given in. I have YouTube. I've got Instagram on there, and it's just like, and I have TikTok there for because we're just getting on there with carpool gaming and stuff. But like I don't want any of these things. I feel like I need like a different phone. I don't know, or maybe I keep it on my iPad or something that if I need to go, maybe that's a good idea. I'm literally just like thinking this as I talk. That's probably the best idea.
Yeah. So like with TikTok, the whole goal in TikTok is to get to 1,000 followers. Yeah. Once you hit 1,000 followers, you can go live. So that's really still my only TikTok goal. So I started going back on there, and I'm going to start like just posting like some little things here and there. I'm close. I just need a few more 100 followers and I'll get it. And then that way I can just go on there and drink a beer.
Well, do the super satisfying videos of like shaving your head. Just like that. You get the ASMR just as the blade is doing its thing. How are you just straight blade? Do you like pick it? What do you? Yeah.
Well, it depends on how lazy I'm being. Like
I would never be able to do it.
In theory, if I could not be lazy, I would just straight blade it once a week. Yeah. And that doesn't work, so it goes like a month, and then I have to use a razor because once it gets so thick, you're not going to straight blade it. Yeah, it all comes down to laziness. I don't want to come home and like shave before I shower. So if I'm not going to do that, then I have to wake up early and shave. And at that point, you have to shower again because now you have like hair all over you and shaving cream. And
what a mess! This is why you let the face stuff grow out.
Sucks, man. I know. This is because
I hate
shaving. I appreciate that. My wife got used to it, which is the nice thing. And I grow it till she tells me I'm looking homeless. And then I'll trim it back down and start growing it again. But man, I told her once we're retired and I'm out of work, I'm gonna have a big ass beard.
Yeah, man.
Like I saw pictures of me last year, and it was like it was full and it was long, and I'm like, hey babe, I miss this, and she goes, shut the fuck up. Like, okay. She keeps me in my place. Like without her, like I wouldn't shave. I'd be like Jason Lacey times 4. Except for not well maintained.
Yeah, I was going to say his beard looks pretty good. But then it's the same thing that people have when they try to grow out their hair. Like you have some sort of like weird middle stage which, by the way, happens like if I were to try to grow out a beard, like I would have a weird middle stage. Like you're in a good spot.
A weird middle.
Yeah. I mean, really, probably all of it. I just can't imagine that there's a good outcome if I try to go for it. But I'm always jealous of like a nice beard.
Well, like with me, I've had facial hair since like middle school. I mean, I had the typical like mustache that comes in for high schoolers. I got that during middle school. Yeah. So like since then, I've almost always had some sort of facial hair. As soon as I could grow the goatee, I did it and just shaved the cheeks or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then just over time, it's like, now I'm a bearded guy. And I think my kids have only seen me like clean shaven twice.
What if you were able to like travel through time, what would your like 15, 16-year-old self think of Grrouchie now?
Man, you need to go on a diet, fatty. We were fat when we were young, and then like 15, 16-year-old, that's like the time when I was like walking the town all the time. Yeah. Like, I mean, I ate unhealthy and everything, but you have a better metabolism, and I was always out, always walking. So slender for me, that was like 180 pounds. Yeah. 190. Like that was my ideal weight.
Because are you tall? It's hard to believe like that we haven't actually met in person. I feel like we have. I really do. That hasn't stopped me before.
You'll come to Vegas.
I've climbed over Disney the wall before. Something. That's the thing. It's not even like you're in like, I don't know, Alaska or some remote, I don't know, Hawaii or something. Like it's Vegas. Like you'd think I'd be there or something. I don't know.
One of my goals is to slowly meet people from the podcasting world.
It's a good goal,
or
man.
like even just the community.
Yeah, that's my goal too.
I met the Ninformant, and that was a lot of fun.
Yes.
I've hung out with Dave.
Same.
Seth, when he used to be on PSVG.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Oh, snap.
He came to Vegas at one point. Like, we hung out, went to the Pinball Hall of Fame.
See, that's the thing. Like, we're all coming to Vegas. Everybody, it's a gravitational pull. We'll all be around there at some point. Yeah. You get to just stay put. You don't have to go anywhere.
That's right.
That's nice. Are you coming to Extra Life? You coming to Extra Life? Come on to Extra Life.
I can't this year.
Yes, you can.
We don't have money, Sean.
We're just broke.
It was just walk to New York.
I don't know. Like throw your thumb up on the road.
Whoa! No. Hitch up my leg a little bit. Show some hair.
Well, and I don't like putting any pressure on anybody. But I need to pressure people a little bit to come. Yeah. Because it is fun and it is very cool. But it's totally understandable that it's like not next door, and I have to. Admit,
but I have places to stay. I have, I could make like a week of it. I could go out. I could visit Dave in Ohio.
Yeah, well, Dave will be there. Erie. Dave's coming too. Is coming.
He? Oh, he just doesn't know it yet.
He doesn't know it. I don't know if he knows.
We'll do like a snack network thing.
Exactly.
We'll just stream taste tests. Like
this
for instance,
is the thing.
This flaming hot Mountain Dew that I'll be drinking during our recording.
I was supposed to do a snack wrap thing from McDonald's, and I finally remember. Dave reminded me for like the 17th time, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go do it. I drive up, and it's not available. I'm like, I was supposed to make my snack network debut.
That's okay. You can make it up with something else.
I guess so. We don't have a lot of variety here.
You can find anything you haven't tried before.
Wait, can you show me what do you have there? What orange madness is this?
This is a flaming hot Mountain Dew.
Why does anybody want? And how many versions and variants of Mountain Dew are there?
6,
we have like 3,000. Yeah, we have like 3 total. Like 1, 2, 3.
We got on their website, they just released one that hasn't been out for a decade. So they re-released it online only. So many people get to buy it, and they'll send it to people.
What?
So Dave and I will be trying that one some morning here in the near future.
That is seriously hardcore soda research. Well, this is the thing.
I got an email saying it was available.
Come on, who's on a Mountain Dew
on the Mountain
email
list?
Who's on a Mountain Dew email list?
Who's
what
not,
is happening
Sean?
right now? That you actually sounded like Dave when you said that. That is amazing.
One of my favorite things of the past year is recording with Dave for the Snack Network.
I get it, man. I get it. Definitely.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, tell me how come. Why? Tell me more.
Why? It's something different. Like, I absolutely love podcasting.
Yeah.
And, the other week when you called me out and said, where the hell am I on my own podcast?
Yeah, that's on my notes. Where the hell are you? How did you let this happen? No. Well, sure. I don't know. I guess we're there. What is this?
Have you ever had Screwball peanut butter whiskey?
Oh no, I haven't had a drink in a long, like an actual like drink in a bit. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just eating Oreos. I'm just eating Oreo cookies instead.
That's my problem. Is I'm eating.
Where do those come from? Dave. Why are they in this house? What the heck is going on?
Chelsea,
I'm like trying to get active, and there are double stuffs in the house. Like, get them out of my sight, dude. I just need like cans of tuna around. That's all. I'll have like cat food for God's sake.
What do you put in your tuna? Do you just eat plain tuna out of a can?
Sometimes, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm.
Mustard and mayonnaise.
Yeah, definitely. Like when I'm feeling, fancy, when I'm looking for a treat. Yeah,
and maybe throw some like pickles in there. My wife has me throwing avocados in there because evidently it's healthy.
Ah, well, that's the thing I can't wrap my head around too. It's like, is avocados killing me? Like, is it putting stuff on my waistline, or is this the best thing I'm supposed to have? I can't tell.
I don't have answers for anything. I know the Oreos are bad. The ice cream's bad. The chips are bad.
Probably bad.
Everything that I want to eat is bad. So
I'm really trying to get a handle on this kind of thing right now, because like I really don't think I eat that bad, but I'm obviously not eating the greatest.
Is it the fact that you're not eating the greatest, or you're just not active enough?
Well, I have been active the last month or so at this point.
Up until recently.
Yeah, no, there's the last like 2 years. Other than these last little bit, it's been embarrassingly bad. Like to your point earlier where you're like, we're just walking around, that was me too. Like I could eat whatever I wanted because I was either biking as a kid or walking to a friend's house. Like I really think about the hours of activity now versus as a kid. And I'm like, I don't even know if I can chalk it up to slow metabolism. I was just like active all the time. I'm in this chair for how many hours a day? I can't even, I have to concentrate my activity to like an hour here or an hour there.
What happened to your stand-up desk and stand-up podcasting?
It's here. I mean, like I'm standing or sitting, like I'm motionless, basically. Mm-hmm. So
that's the problem is, like, you move away from your friends or everybody gets a job.
Yeah,
and I mean,
to get comfortable,
like call up neighbor Matt and be like, "Hey, you want to go for a walk?" It's a little bit more weird when you're in your 30s.
I don't even know if it's that. I think it's just scheduling and timing and crap like that.
Yeah.
I can't even show up to this on time.
I can't show up to anything on time. That's why you haven't heard me on my podcast. Like,
well,
I work
is that why?
Retail. Oh, I work a retail job where for the last like 5 years I close. So I work 1 to 10, 2 to 11, stuff like that. So I work the complete opposite of everybody who I would normally record with or anybody else out there. And the last couple of years I do it because it works for the family.
Yeah.
So I have to wake up in the morning, get Jacob ready for school, and get him to school.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm working at 8 in the morning, I can't do any of that.
Yeah.
So instead, I sacrifice the evening hours to make sure everything goes right in the morning. So then it's like everybody wants to, like, when they have time to record, it's almost like I have to be like, okay, let's plan it a month out and I'll request a Friday off or something like that. Kind of like I did for this.
Like for this? Yeah.
Because until my request went through, I was working 1 to 10 tonight.
Every night? Like
I work, 5 nights a week, and my days off rotate. So for this week was Tuesday, Wednesday. Next week's Tuesday, Wednesday. After that, it's like Wednesday, Thursday. So I don't get like the weekends off, and I don't generally, unless I request it, I don't get a Friday off.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where if I'm available when everybody else wants to record, I'll jump on. If not,
wasn't it your show? Isn't it your show?
100%.
Don't you say these are my days off? Exactly. You're on the artwork, man. You and the turkey. Well, I guess you've added a few others.
Added everybody.
I'm advocating for you, and I hope that it's okay to do that.
100%.
But get on your show, man. Come on.
100%. Like, honestly, like, Turkey and I almost completely like just killed the podcast off because we had trouble recording.
Yeah.
So that's when I reached out to Mike, Ryan, and Patrick, like individually. I was just like reaching out to a bunch of people like, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. I don't want the podcast to die, blah, 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 blah. And like the three of them were like, eventually they were like, well, I guess I have nothing better to do.
Little did you know they were basically going to become the show.
Yeah, but it works awesome.
And
then we added Skinny Matt and we added a Hungry Pup. So, now we've got this group of 7. So in theory, like on a Wednesday off, but I would have to plan it when like my wife's not working. I could be like, hey guys, I have this Wednesday off. The wife will have the kids. Who wants to jump on? And I'm sure 2 or 3 people would be able to.
Right.
Now that it's summertime, that'll be a little easier. So much more difficult though during the school year.
Yeah.
So.
Well, plus, my mind was thinking about all the people that you were bringing onto the show, and I'm curious if you have to have some sort of like alias in order to be on the show.
Well, we have our animals now. I mean,
there's Grrouchie Serge, there's Trash Turkey, there's a Math Man, there's a Hungry Pup, there's all they're all. You just don't have like just names.
Nobody has a name. I mean, so how you're one of the few.
I guess. Well, I've learned my lesson on that front.
The thing is, if everybody's meeting on Twitter, chances are you're behind an alias at some point. Except for
funny. I saw a thread today that I'm like, I really wish I had a burner account of some sort just to reply. Like, there's dark humor, there's terrible jokes, there's things that I would love to just like jump in and say like, man, I can't have my name attached to that thought. Like, what's wrong with my head right now? I can't say that, but.
Yeah, I ran into that last year because I've always been an unfiltered person. I speak my mind. I don't care what other people say. During COVID, I happened to lose a whole bunch of friends because I was against the vaccine for myself. So, of course, I had people telling me that I'm murdering people and all this other happy horse shit. And
I don't think I knew that. And also that surprises me given just how stressful a time you were particularly having working in retail, having record days, record months, and with all this consumer traffic.
So when it first came out, everybody, was going crazy. The world was locking up. At that point in time, I was like, well, this sucks. We have to go to work every day. We're around all these people. There were mask mandates. And, for the first while, it was like, I am out here putting my life on the line. Yeah. And I don't know. I didn't see it affecting enough people to like worry me after a while. It's like, okay, I've literally been doing this for a year and a half. Yeah. I haven't had a sniffle. Nobody in my family's been sick yet. Like, I know people that have gotten sick. And the amount of people that I know that have personally died because of COVID or with COVID was very low. So in the grand scheme of things, like in my mind, it's like, I've been doing this. Everybody in my store has been doing it. Everybody in my wife's store has been doing it. Like, it didn't put that fear in me after a while. Yeah. So it's like, this is just another step. And then the vaccines came out. And like, to me, the vaccines were rushed. Like most vaccines, it's like, we've been working on this for 10 years and it's safe. And with these, it's like, hey, we streamlined everything. We got it done in 6 months. Let's inject you. It's going to cure everything. Yeah. And I'm more of a wait and see. The other thing is I have like a super sensitive system and I always have grown up, probably because of my asthma and different stuff like that. So if I were to ever get the flu shot, I get knocked on my ass for a week and I feel awful. Whereas some people get like the sniffles. Like with me, every time I got it, it was like I felt feverish. I got the aches. I got everything. So I stopped getting the flu shot.
For taking the flu shot instead of just getting the flu. Yeah.
So I stopped getting the flu shot and I never really got the flu.
Yeah.
So with this, I'm like, I don't want to put something in my body that hasn't been like hugely tested. And now there's like 3 of them. And then like one of them came out and they're like, probably don't want to do this one anymore. What was that? Johnson & Johnson.
Was it?
So yeah. So for me, I don't mind what anybody else's stance are. If you want the shot and it made you feel better and you got your family vaccinated and all, like, that's great. That's good for you. But for me, it was like, I don't want to put that in my body. So because that was my personal stance, I had several friends who didn't believe that way. And, we got into heated arguments and I'm like, I'm not saying that everybody shouldn't be vaccinated. I'm just saying I don't want to be. Yeah. And like, if that means that you don't want to hang out with me, I'm cool with that. Like we can talk on the internet and when everything rolls over, we can hang out in person. But you telling me that my stance is murdering people, Like, I don't know. That's going too far. So,
well, way to murder all these people, Grrouchie Serge. Did it not come up with work at all? Did it not, like, was it not
almost.
mandated
We were
for,
so close.
Because I thought it was like
when the government was trying to pass that mandate.
Yeah.
Right, but then people filed in the courts that it was unconstitutional for them to do it, so it got put on hold, and then it never made it through the courts, so it just kind of silently went away.
That probably, like, when I think about it, and I've had the vaccine thrice. I apparently chose or landed on the right. It's not even like it was a choice, especially you show up and you're like, I'll just whatever you got for me.
This is what we got.
When I do think back on it, though, like to force people to take it is a little weird. It's a little, I don't know what the word is exactly, but it when we have maybe some time removed from this, I think there is a bit of a realization to be had that forcing it to happen, whether it's like actually forcing or making situations so uncomfortable for people that they feel like they have to anyways. I do think those are two different things in this situation.
Yeah.
Where you go like your travel is going to be limited if you don't, and that's kind of a choice. But if the government's basically saying, in order to work, you got to do it. I don't know. It's weird. That's maybe as edgy as I'll get on the topic.
So
I never felt uncomfortable about taking it.
With my company, the way they ended up doing it, the way they were going to do it was if you were vaccinated, then you could come to work and do everything as normal. If you were not vaccinated, you had to get tested twice a week.
Right.
To say you were negative.
Kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pain in the butt, but for the first while, they were going to be providing the tests. So you'd show up, they'd swab you, you're negative, you can go to work.
Yeah.
If it really got down to it and it was going to interfere with me being able to provide for my family, I would have gotten the shot and just grunted and been like, don't like. Yeah. But it never came down to that, and I didn't have to. I mean, the wife and I talked about it, and we didn't have a problem doing it, like if that's what it came to. And Sophia has joined the chat. So, but like I said, that's, I don't know. It just bugs me that this thing divided everybody so hardcore. And I think it's kind of like part of the symptom that started years ago where, you used to, when you grew up, you'd be able to have friends and you could have differing opinions and you could argue about stuff, but in the end, you're still friends. Yeah. And then over time, it's gotten more to the point where it's like everybody can only have my opinion or I can't be around them. Like I can't express myself and my different opinions. Like the Trump election, magnified that. Yeah. Because it was like, well, if you voted for Trump, you're ruining America. I mean, you could see that
you believe in X, Y, and Z. I agree with that statement that it's too much to take one reality and apply it to all these other insinuations.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I could have voted for Trump. I don't have to like the guy, but I could have liked some of the policies that he was talking about implementing. Yeah. I don't have to like Biden, but maybe I like some of the stuff that he was talking about implementing. I mean, that's the whole core of having, a two-party system. It's okay, I like what this party's preaching. I don't have to like the person. So, and I mean, I'm sure you saw it as well. Even in the podcast community, it was like, if you voted for Trump, you're ruining America. I don't even want you in my life. Unfollow me and stop listening to my podcast.
Literally.
What the dude, I'm paying you money. Other people are paying you money. And you're just going to say that if you voted for this person, I want you out of my life. And that's that's the part that I couldn't get because, I mean, everybody has those stories oh, man, I can't bring up politics because grandma or Aunt Lucy, she's going to just start talking about how this person's ruining the world. Yeah. And it's but at the end of the day, you can be friends and family. And once it gets to the point where it's you either have to have my opinion or I don't want you in my life. It's that's what blows my mind is how did we get there?
Well, we're all larger children is the problem. We're all just kids and we have money, we have jobs now and we're stressed out. And I don't know, it's a prioritization on just being right, whether or not regardless of what it actually means for a friendship, relationship, or a given situation. It's like that's second, third, or like 15th on the list. Besides, I have my way of thinking, and I'm going to deploy it on you one way or another. And if you don't jive with that, then whatever. I feel right. I feel whatever the word is about this. I feel positive about it. And yeah, you kind of lose sight a little bit of what, like, fast forward 5 years in the future, and this is the hard stance that you've taken. And it's like, how's that working out for you? That's kind of my thing, like, that I actually kind of center around is what's making you happy. And I guess that's part of some people will cut other people off because those interactions are making them unhappy. But I feel like you'll ultimately just be alone in the long run. If that's the approach of no matter if this person thinks this way, I can't have them in my life. And it's like, well, if that's the attitude, you're just going to start applying that to all the remaining people in your life. And it's like that person's cut off, and then that person's cut off, then that person's cut off. Right. And suddenly you look around and there's nobody around.
Yeah, it's slowly just going to get more extreme.
I think that's yes.
It's like cutting a piece of pie. At some point, there's just going to be that one piece left.
And then you're just eat it.
Be like looking in the mirror, just eating it, wishing that Weird Al was here singing to you. Eat it, eat it.
Oh, that's a good one. Man, we don't have music like that anymore. We don't have zany Weird Al anymore, and we don't have. Well, I mean, it's far from mainstream.
And like very similar. The whole politics and you have to have my opinion. It's like it's the same thing with cancel culture, and it's like becoming so extreme. And I didn't bother touching upon it at all, but you did. Like when Chris Rock got slapped by Will Smith over a joke. Yeah, it was like
people did not like my take on that at first, man.
No, your take was 100% right. Like comedy is like the last bastion of like peace of mind out there, because it's like that's the one area where you should be able to talk about anything or make a joke about anything.
Yeah, and I agree.
Like, okay, maybe there's lines and you don't have to be happy with it, but I'm sorry.
Then change the channel, dude. Like that's just that especially on comedy, but like it is when you say last bastion, it's like, yeah, like we've been slowly but surely just saying like we're not allowed to do this and we're not allowed to do this. And as kids, you look at the parents who are saying those things and you're like, Mom, like I want to listen to this music. I want to watch this TV show. Like South Park is funny because it is offensive and it is terrible. And like that's the appeal, that's the draw. And you're mad at the people who were taking that down. And now like that's us. Like we're the people who are doing it. And I don't know, we grew up to...
It seems more extreme. But
it's like, because it's becoming effective. Like when we were kids, our parents would just yell about stuff, but like Marilyn Manson still went on tour, Yeah,
100%. Like there would be protests, but like he didn't like lose his career over like certain things. Like some
and now even just saying his name. See, now even like saying like Marilyn Manson should still tour, it's like now people will apply like, well, that obviously you believe in blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, he's just an extreme character. And do I think he was like a good person? I have no idea. Probably not. Not even part of my calculus on this.
The news that's come out recently, but
probably not.
Beside the point.
I think it is beside the point.
But like my whole thing with the comedy thing is, you can go back in time to any point, and you had two things that offended older people. It was rock and roll and comedy.
Yeah, man.
Like different changes in music. And like with comedy, you could just see it like develop over time. And every generation, there's something that was super offensive. And then with the next generation, you're like, that's pretty timid.
Yeah.
And now like a guy gets slapped on national TV for a G.I. Jane joke. And then what? Dave Chappelle got attacked at a comedy club.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. Everything is too hypersensitive.
Well, and
everybody's
it's justified.
Offended.
It's actually, it's not even the offended part. It's actually, and the thing that surprised me where I'm just like, you know what? I'm not even talking about this, especially on Twitter, was that people go, well, because Dave Chappelle says X, Y, and Z, yeah, he probably should be this. And it's like, that's a quick justification for violence. Man, like I just like, regardless of even if we're talking about what people should or shouldn't say, it's like our quick jump to go, that person deserves to be hit or struck publicly, I don't know, man. That's not a good place for us to be.
To be able to tell somebody
we're that soon to violence.
Like if I didn't like something, I could just tell you, Sean, you're an asshole. Shut up.
Yeah.
But now it's like, Sean, I don't want to hear you anymore. I'm going to see if I can get all your podcasts canceled because there's something I don't like.
It's when we were like on the playground and somebody says something you didn't like or they offended you or said like a bad, like they took your mom joke a little too far. Then you'd have a scrap on the playground. And it's like, I don't know. Maybe that's right. Maybe that's not right. I don't know. But it seems like there's a place for that sort of thing. And now everybody's like, back in my day, like if you crossed the line, you'd get struck across the face. So yeah, we should do that. It's like in real life, in our everyday, we should just like somebody says something, we should hit them.
This is not a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Yeah. They don't just get like the birds, like, or whatever. They don't get a little bump on their head. I don't know. Like I've seen too many people get older, really hurt.
You're supposed to be able to have like meaningful conversations and debates, and I should be able to express my opinion, and you can express yours, and we don't have to agree. If you and I are friends,
how did it work? Obviously, people didn't like what you had to say. How did you personally feel when everyone else was saying to you how they felt? What their opinion was.
I blocked a couple people on Facebook once they started to cross a line.
Sure.
And I'm willing to express my point. I'm not gonna be hyper offensive about it. I'm not gonna be up in your face and be like, if you don't believe my point, you're dumb. I'm just gonna express my opinions and go through the facts as I know them.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna come back at me in the same manner and be like, this is what I know, this is what I've seen, this is what I've read, that's one thing. But if you're going to personally attack me over a belief, that's when it's like, okay, this is toxic, it has to end. Mm-hmm. So, there were a couple people I had to cut out. However, there's a whole bunch of people out there who I'm still friends with and I can still talk to, even if they disagreed with me. Mm-hmm. So it's just, I don't get the mindset where...
Did you never get COVID? Did you never catch it?
Oh, no, I got it. My whole family got it except for my 7-year-old. So
and unvaccinated, you got it and you were unvaccinated. Like I got it, but I was vaccinated. So it was like, okay, well, this is bad, but probably could have been worse.
Yeah. So right before Thanksgiving last year, my teenager got it. Yeah. So he was out of school for like 2 weeks. Yeah. So after he got healthy, my wife came down with it. Mm-hmm. Like a week later, I got it. And then once we both kind of recovered, our 3-year-old got it. Yeah. My wife, she had like a fever for a day or so. She lost her sense of smell. Yeah. But other than that, it was some fatigue. And like,
did it come back? Like I've got friends who lost it and like they lost their taste and it never came back. Or at least
I know one person who hasn't had a sense of smell or taste for almost a year. Yeah. And it's slowly coming back. There's certain things that she's starting to sense again. Yeah. But with my wife, it was like a week or two. Mm-hmm. With me, I just got like extremely fatigued. Yeah. Like I would wake up and I'd walk downstairs to like get breakfast. And man, I just needed to take a nap after that. So so COVID, I feel some lingering effects. And I don't know if it's just because like I got super lazy during COVID and all I did was eat and sleep and I gained weight. And then I kept gaining weight because then I started eating unhealthy afterwards. Yeah. But like, I had really bad joint pain in my ankles for about 6 to 8 months after COVID.
Wow.
And it was constant. Like it was like I would wake up in the morning and my ankles ached. And by the end of the workday, because I'm on my feet all day, like it was just a chore to walk. Yeah. And now, and I really haven't lost weight since then. But now over the last like month or two, I've really been noticing that that's basically gone. So I don't know.
Just ran its course kind of thing over the course of the better part of a year.
Like, yeah. And that's the thing is like, we don't know enough about COVID to know. And evidently it affects so many people differently. Like the big reason COVID put me in a panic is because I have asthma. So the big fear was it's going to attack my lungs. And if I get it, I could be screwed. So of course, when I got it, my wife went into panic mode. She sent me to the hospital for, I don't know what it was called, some sort of monoclonal antibody infusion.
Sure.
Which basically means they hooked me up to an IV for an hour and poured stuff into my system to help me try to kick it. But
didn't you think it was just an eventuality of getting it? Like, was it really that surprising to get it?
100%. And that's the other thing is, I know a whole lot of people who are vaccinated and then got it. Or they were vaccinated, then got their booster, and then got it, or got it a second time.
Yeah, I got it after the booster. Time. I never expected the vaccine to keep me from getting it. I always thought, like, and I'm not a doctor. I think it's the same thing with the flu, that is, you're just better equipped to deal with it when you do ultimately catch it just by being out in the wild. So obviously the specific choice not to be vaccinated, knowing the potential ranges of impacts that it could have on you. I'm just trying to get into the mindset of like, okay, now it's here. Like now, like, are you allowed to be surprised? Are you allowed to be alarmed? I don't know. Like, obviously you are allowed. I'm being extreme in that.
I mean, it was what, this past November. So it was a year and a half, 2 years after everything happened. Yeah. And to me, this was like the flu. At some point, everybody's going to get it. You know?
Yeah. Maybe, it just doesn't seem like a flu you want.
It's like 7 strains later and it's easier to deal with. But like with my wife and I, our main concern was, this is the part of the podcast where I ask you if we're recording yet.
Yes.
Because everybody
the entire time. Yeah, right? Yeah.
So like my wife and I, our main concern was the people who were high risk in our lives were protected. Yeah. So like her parents, her aunt, all up near 70s. My parents who are, health problems, but they're both over 70 and stuff like that. So our concern was those people are protected. And if we're going to see them, we'll wear masks and we'll, do all of this stuff to try to mitigate the risks. And if
like while you had COVID, you would just mask up and... Oh, okay. Oh, just
like
around.
Before
okay. Like, hang on a second. Okay, let's see how far this goes. Okay.
But I'm saying like before. Like when
I got you.
Like when we had COVID, we stayed in the house. We didn't do anything. We actually, our 2 younger kids, the 7-year-old and the 4-year-old, we sent them over with her parents so that they weren't in the house at the time. Yeah. Exactly. We still had the teenager, but he had just recovered from it. So in theory, he shouldn't get it again that quick.
Yeah.
So we had to take the leave from work and we stayed in the house till we recovered. But like before that, like I said, like that was where we were like, okay, let's make sure our parents are protected. Mm-hmm. They're the ones who are older and at risk. Whereas we're younger, we're, relatively healthy, overweight, but healthy. So
these are the moments where because I think we all kind of talk to ourselves and say like, oh, we're getting really old. And then you go, hang on a second. We got like all these relatives. You got like, there's still time for that. Maybe,
before you ask this, you probably have a note or something, but before you ask this, it struck me recently because I grew up with an older dad. He started later. My egg donor, she was young when she had me. But I grew up with an older dad, and I was always like, man, I am never going to make that mistake. Like, he was 30 when I was born, which doesn't sound that bad anymore. But, when you're 15 and he's 45, it's like, dude, most of the time there's like, 15, 20-year age gap, but he was 30. So, like the other day, and like I know I started old, and I get it, and I'm cool with it. But the other day, it just like kind of like a moment of laughter hit me. I'm sitting here and I was like, I was 15 years old in high school and my dad was 45.
Yeah.
And I was like, my son is 7, just finished first grade, and I'm 45.
Yeah. Half the age.
And my daughter just turned 4. I was like, man, when I said I will never do that, evidently what I meant was I'm going to push that back another decade, then I'm going to have kids.
That's what they call famous last words.
Unique way to look at it.
Yeah, when you got to knock on wood when you say something like that, or you damn yourself forever. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's a whole other dynamic. What I was going to ask, and I had no idea we were going to go down this road, so there are no notes for this sort of thing.
Yeah, what happened? Like, you just wanted to have a COVID conversation with me?
Sure. I don't know. I don't even know how it came up. We'll have to check the tape. I have to ask, like, we saw what happened with Bobby. We saw what happened with Chris White in the podcasting community as well. Like, how did that impact you watching that kind of stuff happen and still make the decision?
So, I mean, the Bobby one kind of affected me because, he was someone I communicated with. He was someone that I listened to almost daily,
Yeah.
between like all the podcasts he did or listening to like his YouTube in the background. He did so much that he was just a voice in my life at all times.
Yeah.
So that one hit me hard that, he got sick and he was out for so long. And just when everybody thought he was going to recover, like, COVID went down the wrong direction.
And wouldn't it have been amazing for him to get a vaccine?
Yes. And then like even my sister-in-law, her father-in-law, died either of or with COVID. But like the thing is, it's like you have those instances that hit you, but we also saw so many people who got it, said that it wasn't that bad and recovered. Like Marty from the Nintendo Dads.
Sure.
He was another one, like, a bigger guy, maybe not the greatest health because of his weight, just like me, just like Bobby. And, he kicked it. And there were so many people I know that kicked it that it's...
Did he not have the vaccine? Did Marty not have the vaccine? I thought he did.
I don't even know if the vaccines were out at that time. Like, I don't know. The past 2 years all happened in a 2-week span in my mind.
Dude, it is. And that's so funny because I have to remind myself sometimes, I mean, not so much anymore, but that like the vaccine wasn't out when Bobby got sick. And that's the thing that keeps running through my mind was like, I wonder what he would have done. Now we never know because ultimately, like, you just can't go back. Right. And I always wonder like what Bobby would have said, just given how I know how he is.
Right.
And I so like part of me wonders if he would have said no thanks, which would have required for him to not have gotten sick, to have gotten through a certain period of time until it became available. And I'm curious what he would have said. So all of that considered, that strikes me as like, okay, well, yeah, like what's the other side? What's the other risk of the vaccine? I'm just trying to get a mindset of choosing not to and acknowledging that it has taken Bobby, it's taken Chris, maybe another person in your life, versus getting it or taking the vaccine and not being killed by the vaccine.
And that's the thing is like, I don't know. I look at it like so many other things. Like I've lost people to other illnesses. Mm-hmm. I've lost people to heart disease because they were overweight and never ate healthy.
Right.
I've lost people to alcoholism, and yet here I am with a Mountain Dew and a Fireball.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that probably explains a lot of it.
Like
honestly, that says that.
Like I don't know. It's just like
when
I look back at life, and I've seen the stuff that I've gone through, and I've seen what other people have gone through. It's like I know people who got sick and never recovered, and then I know people who recovered.
Yeah,
and it was one of those things that like if it hits me, I will deal with it then.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I have a hard time wrapping my mind around injecting myself with something that they came up with so quick.
Yeah,
like,
I mean
that. But I grew up like a sickly child. Just in the way like mainly it was like asthma, but I grew up not being able to breathe, and I grew up like being hospitalized in an oxygen tent multiple times. And it's just one of those things where like I couldn't justify it for myself. Like I didn't feel right with it, but at the same time, I don't have a problem with anybody else who is like, this is the way I think it should work, and this is what I'm doing for myself and my family.
Yeah.
Like I didn't take that hard stance where I'm like, Sean, you're an idiot if you get the vaccine. We don't know the risks. We don't know the side effects.
See, that's where I wanted to get to. That's where when somebody would come to you with like questions like I'm coming to you with, like, what's the mindset of the other side is really what I wanted to get into, because it's frustrating for one side of the aisle to go, how dare you? But if you're on the other side of the aisle, then people are coming at you with their opinion. And it's like, you don't necessarily have the same vitriol with your side. So I'm actually more, because I obviously totally disagree with the decision.
Correct.
But I'm interested in the conversation that comes out of that, to be honest with you. It's like that. I think that that should happen more often. I'm saddened that it doesn't, is probably the biggest thing on pretty much every issue, is that, I think the expectation that people put on themselves and each other is that even if you come across somebody with a different opinion, you better make your stance known. And the only way to make your stance known is to attack the other person. And I just fundamentally disagree with that as a reasonable reaction. Right.
And
so I just don't think I should like lash out at you for this.
And that's
like
and that's
call me
fine.
crazy.
Like, you don't have to agree with my stance. You don't have to, you can disagree with it and we can have this conversation. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I am perfectly okay with everybody making the other decision. It was just for me. And like we told our teenager, like, if you want to get vaccinated to be able to do whatever it is that
totally,
like, then that's up to you. I'm not going to put, like, to me, this all boils back to like the religion argument. Like I grew up in a very open and understanding family. So with my dad and my mom, I grew up where they allowed me to make decisions. They told me that if these decisions lead down certain paths, then they were going to interfere and stuff like that. Yeah. But they allowed me to listen to obscene music. Mm-hmm. They just said that if we hear you using these words or these phrases, then it's going to go away. Yeah. When it was like, hey, Dungeons and Dragons is like for devil worshippers.
Yeah, like, I remember that. That's why I couldn't play Diablo. I couldn't play Diablo for that reason.
Yeah, so my parents were never of that mindset.
We could play Doom. They didn't know it was about hell. It was just in the name.
It's all in the advertising.
Exactly.
And then so, like, it was the same way with religion growing up. Like, my parents are Catholic. Mm-hmm. Most of my friends from that area were Catholic. We grew up in a very Catholic town. And when it came time to do the whole, I don't know what it's called, like catechism or whatever it is when you're a teenager and you go through this thing and then they're like, you are now one with God, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like, my parents let me make that decision. They were like, this is what we believe. We're not going to try to force you to believe the same thing.
Yeah. I think that's that's confirmation, this. I think is what you're talking about. And that is really,
that's the one. Yes.
That's kind of the point of it, is that it's really supposed to be that individual's choice, because when they're baptized, they're a little baby and they have their godfather or godmother, godparents making the choice for them.
Based on what I've seen, confirmation is never the child's choice.
That's it. Hence the heavy bolding around. That's what it's supposed to be. Definitely.
So my 16-year-old is going through it right now. Is he going through it because he wants to do it? No, he's going through it because my wife said, this is what we're doing. Like, she's Catholic. She wants him to go through it. And, it's...
Wow. I don't think I ever knew this. This is... like, it's a hyper intensive version of what we just talked about, but in your household. Like, difference.
My wife and I have so many different opinions.
Wow.
Like, the fact that she married me speaks a lot to her tolerance level. Because, she grew up Catholic, so one of the things she always wanted was, like, a church wedding.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing she can't have is a Catholic church wedding unless I go through and I get confirmed.
Yeah.
And I told her that at some point after we've been married, if she decides that's still what she wants to do, I said, I will do it. I was like, but know that I'm doing it just so you can have your wedding. I'm not doing it because of my beliefs. I'm not doing it because I want to be part of the Catholic Church. Mm-hmm. I am literally just going through the motions so that you can have what you want.
Yeah.
And thus far, she hasn't like come up and been like, okay, this is what I want.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, like, I grew up in an open house where my parents let me make my own decisions.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be what they chose. They let me know what their choices were, their beliefs, whether it was politics or religion or whatever. And, they said, whatever you want to do, we support you. Mm-hmm. So I grew up a lot more free than a lot of my friends.
Yeah.
And because of that, I feel like I have more of an open mind and more of a, like, I'm willing to question a lot of things and I'm willing to go against the grain because it was supported while I was younger.
Sure.
It wasn't like, we're Catholic, so you're getting confirmed. This is what we are, so you're doing this. It was all like, you make your choices, and we will support you. Even if we don't agree with you, we will support you on it.
I mean, that's probably a good stance to have as a parent, to be honest with you. Like, you're probably better not to wedge, but that's a fine line too. Of like, you still want to. It's hard to do. But like, how do you have some sort of boundaries? Like, do you establish boundaries for the kids, or do you not? Like, and where are they, and how high are the walls on these boundaries? Like, how strict do you enforce these kind of things? These are things that I question and wonder about every single day. Like, I don't know. It's hard to even define.
Like, the biggest one that I can't get over in my head, like, this is the one where it's like, there's this weird, like, I get that I should support my children no matter what. Let them make their own choices. Let them know what I want. But my 7-year-old, for the life of me, will not come around. He tells me, Dad, I hate the Steelers because you like them. And I just keep trying to force them in. I just keep trying to force them in there. I'm like, no, you got to watch them with me. He goes, no, football's dumb. And I'm like, no.
Yeah. Like, wow. He's already articulated and realized the reason for sons to exist is for them to dislike and go completely against whatever the dad enjoys.
I was like, whatever I like is what you're supposed to like. I like
he's not supposed to realize what he's doing. Yeah, they're not supposed to realize what they're doing.
He says it too. He laughs.
Oh my god!
The other day we were doing something, and like I was playing some music that I liked, and he goes, "Dad, do you like this song?" I'm like, "I love this song." He goes, "Okay, I don't like it because you do." I was like, "Oh,
dickhead!
What a dickhead!" And he did it on purpose too. He was laughing when he said it.
Get another one. That's
oh.
He just disappeared behind that futon.
Both of them. But yeah, no, he's got my personality. He likes to joke, he likes to prank, and he likes to push his limits.
No kidding.
Yeah. He's a mini me. But yeah, that's the one I can't get past is the sports thing. Like,
well,
I don't care what your religion is.
Having that conversation with my dad. I remember asking them why do we have to watch hockey? My uncle was over and I was wondering, why are we watching hockey? Like, I'd rather watch cartoons right now. And they were trying to explain to me that for them, hockey is like Saturday morning cartoons. And I'm like, that's stupid. Like, that doesn't make any sense. And you know what? The cold and the hard irony about it all is one day he'll grow up and either he'll have a kid who does the exact same thing to him, or he'll start to come around on all the things he said he hated.
Oh,
and start to actually like him.
To be honest, I really don't mind. Like, he can like whatever he wants.
Mm-hmm.
He likes different games than I like, although he plays some games with me, so we do have like a common ground. But if he doesn't like football, he doesn't like football at the end of the day. Yeah. Hopefully my daughter does. I want them to have their own personality. I want them to have I want them to form their own set of beliefs. And like, I know a whole lot of kids grow up and they're like, I like this because my dad likes it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want them to like something just because I like it.
Does she want to be on the show?
Oh, she wants me to help her wash her hands.
She can be on the show. Should we ask her questions?
You want to come over on the show? You want to come say hi?
Oh, a wave. It's an audio podcast, lady. Well, I guess actually technically there's video too. YouTube.com/carpoolgaming.
Yeah. Having kids is really the best thing I've ever done.
I don't think you're getting out of this one.
I'm not getting out of anything. I'm just happy. Yeah, she said she's happy.
Aww.
She's the sweet one of my kids.
Yeah,
I was talking to somebody and she just crawled in my lap and watched.
My daughter isn't really a cuddly, affectionate type of kid. But when the moments happen, it's like, yeah, I'm holding on to this one for a bit.
That's the way Jacob is. He's the 7-year-old. He doesn't want the affection. He doesn't want to be like the center of attention.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he got an award for something in school and he doesn't want to talk about it. Like, he just doesn't want that focus on him.
Yeah.
But she's going to be like the social butterfly. She's going to have all the friends. Like, when we take her to the park, she like just picks out friends. Dad, this is my best friend. We're going to go over here and play. And she'll like pick 2 or 3 people and she'll just play with them for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, dude, it's It's about that time in the hour. Actually, I'm curious if there's anything else you got on your mind before we wrap things up here, my friend.
I don't know. Politics and COVID. I think we covered.
Yeah, that's pretty much
the
it.
last
right?
2 years.
Yeah. Well, get back on your damn podcast, for God's sakes. Glad to see you podcasting and creating content with, of course, Dave Moore, who I am working on getting on this show. We gotta figure similar type of scheduling kind of things out. That would be really good. Do you want to let everybody know where they can send all their love messages over to you on the internet?
All I want everybody to do is go on YouTube and follow the Snack Network. Watch me and Dave at 5 a.m. Pacific time on Tuesdays, drinking an energy drink.
Yes.
Come to Vegas and listen to my kids scream.
Okay, so you're still here. I'm very curious to hear from you guys what you thought of this conversation. I actively wanted to explore a bit of a difference of viewpoints here. I had no idea we were going to go down this area. I don't just like, I'm not a very good actor. I'm not a very good liar. The reaction you guys got from me was quite genuine because, at the beginning of the pandemic, Grrouchie was quite concerned about COVID and the fact that he was working in a retail area. And then I guess I just hadn't talked to him or about this. I'm not sure exactly how it happened, but I missed this whole point and perspective from him. So that really did catch me off guard, and I was actively trying to make sure that I was keeping the conversation open. It's rare that I actually dive into like my own mentality during the conversation. I don't typically do this, but I wanted to kind of open up to you guys a little bit because I was really that's what was running through my mind. I just want to go. I think I clarified at the end. I disagree 100%. I obviously my whole family, like we're all doing the vaccine stuff. But can people who come at it from different perspectives still have a civil conversation and still be friends at the end of it? I think I'm still friends with Grrouchie Serge after that. And I hope that this is just an example of what we can do together. It's not the end of the world. The pandemic was almost the end of the world, but you guys, you know what I'm trying to say here. I'm very curious to know what you guys think of this. I thought this was a particularly interesting episode. I would have probably gone a little bit longer, but a little bit of background noise was prompting maybe the end of the episode here. So thank you guys for listening. Thanks for sticking around for the whole thing. I really appreciate it. And as you guys know, follow the show or support. You guys could support us. I already talked about it at the beginning. Court's doing a great job on the socials. So follow us all, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. Carpool Gaming. Now, every episode of We the GamerCast ends with a clip of Bobby Pauls, the late great Nintendo guru, one of the greatest people who ever lived on this planet. And I want to give a special thank you to Josh Stapleton, one of the most amazing people on the planet, who is sending these clips for us to enjoy and to remember Bobby. This clip is from the Geek Gurus. I was recording while I was one of the last times I was in Toronto. Actually, I was outside of the Ball Diamond over there. Rogers, whatever the hell, the Sky Dome, whatever the Sky Dome's called now. And Bobby is talking about DC stuff, and Toby has a British way of saying Aquaman. So please enjoy, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Myself, I am geeking out a little thing that I watched yesterday called Justice League. I will admit it's not my favorite movie of all time, but they did enough in this movie to excite me. As a DC fan, there were so many different Easter eggs within that I was just flipping out when I saw them. I felt like The Flash and Aquaman are tremendous. They did such a hell of a job. Oh, they did a hell of a job, man. And
really, I saw a clip.
Yeah,
Bobby, on Graham Norton. Do you know what Graham Norton is?
I know. I love Graham Norton. He's amazing.
So Aquaman was on Graham Norton, and they showed a clip.
Momoa. Yeah.
Aquaman, right? Because he had his trident and everything, so he's Aquaman when he's on there.
Yeah.
When it's not a trident, it's a.
It's a trident. It's a trident.
No, it's not a trident. It's got the 5 prongs instead of 3. So it's not a trident. It's a.
Well, then that's the wrong one, but it's a trident. That's what they call it.
That's what he had.
That's what they called it in the comic. They called it the trident.
Is it like a menorah?
He said that the trident comes in the next film. I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, go ahead.
Maybe he was joking. I don't know. Anyway, the clip they showed was when Batman was talking, like first met him and trying to recruit him or something.
Yeah.
And that whole scene, like, it was pretty bad. Like, obviously it's out of context. I don't know where it fits
Yeah.
into the film,
Yeah.
but like, is Aquaman actually cool?
He is badass.
Yeah?
Oh, dude, he is awesome. Like, I love him, dude. I can't spoil anything. I can't say anything. But
Yeah.
there's stuff he does that makes you, if you catch it, makes you laugh out loud. Like, there is some good stuff. He's just a badass. He really is. Like,
Bobby, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
About Jason Momoa? Because I was looking at a picture of him, standing waist deep in the water, and I was looking at his abs and his body and his manliness and everything.
insane,
And as I was looking at this, I was eating a pizza, and I wondered to myself, do you have an answer? How often do you think he eats pizza?
Probably
Ever?
never.
Is it once
Probably
a week?
Never.
Never? Is
Never.
that the answer?
Probably never. But I like the fact that, like, okay, so Aquaman always gets a bad rap of, like, oh, well, your power is you talk to fish and stuff. And it's funny because they actually, like, reference this. And because that's not what he does. Like, that's not a thing. It's like when you watch that stuff when you're a kid and the Super Friends and stuff, like, you see what they do, but, like, they've taken him into, like, a more badass role in the comics as well. Jeff Johns, he revamped the whole thing, the whole origin story and stuff, and it's really good. I loved what they did, man. I thought it was really well done. The Flash is awesome because the Flash just adds that little bit of humor at certain parts that just make you laugh. It's really cool because he's kind of like us. You know what I mean? Like, if you found out that there was superheroes around and there actually are superheroes and you're meeting them for the first time, like, how would you react? And that's how he's reacting. Like, for us as the viewers, we're like, well, of course that's Batman. Like, we know. But he's, like, freaking out when he finds, it's just, like, really cool, man. It's just really well done.